Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue, and today on Inside Golf, we're here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey at the Golf Performance Institute with Brett Michener. Brett, you're almost, what, a little over a year old?
A little over a year old.
You're the CEO, and we were here before last year and got a glimpse of what goes on. But once again, kind of bring back to our mindset, what are you trying to do here at the intersection of physical training and golf?
Well, our real aim is to bring our biomechanical expertise as physical therapists and movement analysis and bring that to the game of golf and allow us to have our golf professionals have better lessons with our clients and really bring that team approach.
And over the next few weeks, we'll be back here at the Golf Performance Institute with some tips on getting in better shape and therefore becoming a better golfer. Also ahead today, we're going to take a look at the life of Kevin Turner. Kevin Turner, the former Eagle, who recently passed away. We'll show you how some friends honored him every year with a golf tournament here in South Jersey. It's all coming up next right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, presented by Destination Montco Golf, 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By Golf Performance Institute, GPI, better training, better athletes, better golfers. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
I'd be nowhere near the golfer or person that I am today without Cam. We don't hold our thoughts back with each other, and that's why we're able to be so successful.
Jordan brought with him a tremendous desire to achieve, whether it was that first day that we met or every session thereafter.
One of the epic performances.
Accomplishing these lifetime goals, could not have done it without Cam.
The best stories end in thanks. Share your story at ThanksPGAPro.com.
The First Tee teaches you golf, but they also teach you life skills.
We learn things you can use everywhere, every day.
Like how to meet people you don't know. I'm Nicholas.
It comes in handy on your first day of school.
Or interviewing for a job.
Thank you.
Some of the best golf lessons have very little to do with golf. The life skills young people learn at the First Tee stay with them long after they leave. Visit thefirsttee.org to learn more.
Hi, I'm Janie. Let's play some golf.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. We're here at the Golf Performance Institute, conveniently located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. It's right off Route 38, and it's on Briggs Road at that intersection. We were here a little while ago, right after the first anniversary, and Brett Michener, the CEO, took us through the facility and showed us what's available for people of all ages. We see golf here in the background. We see a lot of physical therapy training devices in another area of your building. It's a merger of the two, isn't it?
It is. And I think the best way to describe it is to kind of ask the question, what's the number one thing as an amateur golfer that you're not doing to positively affect your game? And that really comes down to what your body is doing and not doing. If you can't control what your body's doing in that complete motion that the golf swing is, you have little chance of putting a good swing plane and a good club face at impact together.
Now, as I look around the facility, I see it's not just older folks, people whose maybe body isn't what it used to be. You have a lot of young junior players in here who are really getting an advanced treatment as to how they should keep their body toned up and allowing it to do what they want to do once they get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a lot of our juniors who encompass 75% of our business right now. And that's not necessarily us marketing to them. They found us, because they're looking for an edge, they're looking for ways to get better. There's baseball, basketball, football camps, tennis camps. You can find them everywhere in every city across America. But golf, the way we deliver it, just doesn't really exist.
And the best players in the world are doing the same thing, right? What are the statistics as to number of tour players who have their own physical trainers working with them almost 7 days a week?
Yeah. It's 21 out of the top 23 on the tour. I mean, that's a staggering statistic that you have a hard time arguing. And you look at the body shapes compared to the 80s, compared to today.
Yeah,
the
I
guys
look at the body shapes all the time. Huh? What do they talk about the flat bellies, right?
That's right.
And now everybody wants to have a flat
right.
belly. But I'm sure you've seen people who, with a combination of what you're doing and maybe their golf pro with instructions, all of a sudden their range of motion and their swing and the distance they're getting as a result are much improved.
Yeah, it's returning to the swing that you used to have. You know, a lot of us who have been playing for 30, 40 years, well, that swing has changed. It's gotten shorter. We have injuries. We have things that really need to be affected from the biomechanical side, which is what physical therapy does. That's our hammer. That's our main component and our main contribution to the game of golf is saying, hey, your biomechanics aren't where they used to be. Let's see if we can't correct them and get them closer to back to where they used to be so you can still have the same success you had 20 years ago.
All right, Brett and I have moved over, transitioned to one of the simulator bays. You have 3 of them. And we have David here in the background. What's he working on right now?
So David's working on a combination of weight shifting, pelvic rotation, getting that weight back, but not too far back, and making sure that lower body's coming through first.
Okay. David, we heard the explanation. Now show it. Yeah, no pressure at all. Okay, now I have monitors and David can see where his ball went. That look all right, David? Everything okay?
Not great.
Not great? Not terrible, as I like to say.
Not terrible.
Not terrible. Okay. Now,
So the data that's popping up right
Yeah.
there, which we can go back to, he can see everything that ball's doing. Spin rates, trajectory, rollout, where it hit the ground and how far it rolled out, which is an important statistic that you really only get with a flight monitor like this because you can't get it out. You can guesstimate how far it's rolling out, but it's nice to have that real average as one of those other choices for when you select a club.
okay, we're still in the simulator, Brett, and this is Liam, and Liam is a college golfer.
Yes.
And he's trying to get better like everybody else. What's he particularly working on right now in this exercise?
So in Liam's case, you'll see we have quite a different problem. He's got all the motion that we need, being a young, healthy college student. And for him, we're really working on sequence, some of those smaller motions, separating upper body, lower body, really keeping a stable base and getting that pelvis out in front first.
Rather than leading with the shoulders or the upper body.
Correct.
Okay, so
Allowing that ground reaction force to start and his swing to start at his feet where he's driving off that right leg. And you can see, if you really pay attention, slow that down a little bit, you'll see he wants in the worst way to lead with that upper body. And that's something we're really working with him to correct and get him in the correct sequence. Because he can obviously develop the swing speed, but it's more about a sequence and firing the right things at the right time with him.
we have Beth Bartholomew, one of your trainers here, and we have Sean, local high school student who is part of the program. So what's Beth going to do to Sean first?
So Beth is going to take him through 3 of our core movements of the screen. This first one, you'll see he's in a traditional 5-iron stance.
Right.
And from here, he's going to try to pelvic tilt. So it's an anterior tilt and a posterior pelvic tilt. So
now, I never did that when I had a 5-iron in my hand. What are you looking for there?
So a couple important things is, can he get into a neutral spine? We know that is the premier position to get into set up to the golf ball. There's nothing more important than posture. The second thing we're looking at is how far can he translate anterior, posterior, and can he control that motion? So some of that ratcheting, that shaking motion that you're seeing a little bit with him is a little bit of core weakness. Now, a little unfair to Sean. If we give him a little chance to warm up, he'll be able to do this in a little smoother motion.
It looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, yeah.
If I did that, all of a sudden I'd be on my way to the local hospital here. Okay, good job, Sean. Brett, what are these fellows doing right here?
So these are fairly traditional box jumps. You'll recognize this as a high-level plyometric maneuver. We're also doing 90-degree rotation with it too. Remember, the golf swing is a power move. It's the equivalent to throwing a shot put, so we need to train for it.
That's why these tour pros are hitting, not just tour pros, but amateurs are hitting it 300-plus yards routinely, right?
That's right.
It's amazing. It's not always the equipment. It's the body that leads.
That's right. Leg drive with rotation.
You know what this reminds me of? A drill like this and some of the other things we've seen. You know, the NFL Combine puts potential draft picks through all these physical exercises. I mean, the vertical jump here, these guys are doing, but it's all, as you say, to develop for a golf swing, not for playing football. But it's amazing how, you know, you get the two sports almost overlapping in terms of how people are training to compete.
Right, absolutely.
Give us and our viewers a way of getting in touch with you people. I know you got a website, you're on Facebook. Give us all the addresses.
So our website is gpinj.com. We're at GPINJ on Twitter. We're on Instagram and Facebook at GPINJ as well.
And you're conveniently located right off 295 and Route 38 in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. It's a pleasure to be over here. You know, be honest with you, I wish I was 18 or 19 and could do these sort of things on a regular basis. Brett, a pleasure. Thanks for having us. Coming up next, right here on Inside Golf, our own tribute to the life of former Eagles fullback Kevin Turner.
Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, published by former Eagles tight end Ken Dunek, is everything you want in a publication catering to men's interest. Enjoy articles on politics, business, the mob, wine, food, fitness, and travel. Written by the likes of George Anastasia, Bill Lyon, Sam Carchidi, and Mike Kern. Want to grow your business? Ask for information on our Legacy and Chairman Clubs. They meet regularly and can be a valuable tool for your company. Subscriptions are only $20 a year for 6 issues. They're available at jerseymanmagazine.com.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Recently, we heard the news that Kevin Turner, the former Eagle fullback, had passed away. Kevin had suffered from Lou Gehrig's disease. Last summer, for a 4th straight year, friends of Kevin Turner gathered for an annual golf event to benefit the Kevin Turner Foundation.
Recently, Medford Village was host to the 4th annual Kevin Turner Foundation golf outing. Kevin Turner was an Eagles fullback back in the mid to late 90s. Played collegiately at the University of Alabama, and prior to coming to Philadelphia, was a fullback with the New England Patriots. He suffered numerous injuries. It's part of the trade. But then, 5 years ago, Kevin was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And 4 years ago, with the help of his friend and neighbor here in South Jersey, Bob Penza, he started the Kevin Turner Foundation golf outing here at Medford Village.
First met Kevin, he moved into our neighborhood in '95. He was a big deal for the Eagles to sign him as a free agent acquisition. And he played 5 hard years for Philadelphia. And we developed a really good friendship while he was here, and he moved back to Alabama. And unfortunately, 5 years ago, when he was first diagnosed with ALS, we had still been in contact with each other, and I wanted to do something where he could come back to the Philly area and get together with some of his old teammates and friends and people that love him and care about him, and help his foundation, which was about raising awareness, get the word out about what his foundation is trying to do, and create a reunion of sorts for Kevin.
A couple of other things that I need to note that
Number 83, Mr. Invincible, my old broadcast partner, Vince Papali. Great to see you there.
Hey, yeah, great.
Hawkman.
Hawk brother, that's right, Harry. The Hawk will never die. We need to start with that. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. You're doing great. You look great. And you're here today. Vince, you didn't play, of course, with Kevin Turner, but John Runyon is here, who never played with the Eagles with Kevin Turner. What about the fraternity of NFL players turning out for an event like this?
Well, that's what the NFL alumni is all about. That's why we proudly wear that shield and that crown up there. And it's all about helping the other guy, caring and giving. And Kevin's the kind of guy that if you knew him the way I knew him, I happened to in Cherry Hill, he lived right around the corner from me. And he was a special teams demon. And 34, and I kept calling him 83. And became friends with his family, and I knew him and his wife and his children as they were growing up, and now he's just an inspiration to everyone, and you got to help.
Yeah, he was the kind of player you would have loved to have been a teammate of.
Oh, you kidding me? I kept telling him, I said, I would have loved for you to come back and play well, because he was old school. In Alabama and all the stuff that he used to do down there, but there wasn't a wedge that he didn't like to blow up, and of course as the fullback and just throwing his head in there all the time. He was probably one of the better fullbacks I think the Eagles ever had. It's just I was sure sorry to see him go. 34, loved him. Say a prayer for Kevin and his family. He's deserving of everything and all the accolades and everything that he's ever got.
Well said. Thanks, Vince.
Thanks.
Well, look who's here. Somebody who needs no introduction to Philadelphia sports fans. Merrill Reese, voice of the Eagles. And voice of the Eagles, of course, when Kevin Turner was a player. They were
In terms of wins, lean years back in the mid-late 90s.
They were, but Kevin Turner was one of the real forces on that team. He was a great fullback. If I were to put together the best fullbacks in the 300 years that I've done the team, Kevin would be right up there on that list.
He didn't score many touchdowns, Merle. I think he only had one rushing touchdown in his career, and it didn't come with the Eagles. I think it came with New England. But what made him the great fullback that he was?
Well, he was tough. That's the word that I think of when I think of Kevin Turner. I remember him, and I'm not sure who the Eagles were playing that day, but he went way up above everybody and made a one-handed catch in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. So he was a tremendous receiver, and he had moves. He was not just a straight-ahead runner, not that he juked a lot, but he was a guy who, if there was a hole, he could hit it, and if there was an opportunity to make a move, he was capable of making a move. He was an exceptional football player. He was at Alabama, came out of Alabama, and was good from the beginning in the NFL. When the Eagles got him, that was a great deal.
Merle, always a pleasure. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Harry.
Sam Gash, former great fullback at Penn State and in the NFL, several years, including a couple in New England, when you competed against Kevin Turner. What kind of a player or teammate was Kevin?
Great guy. I mean, he was a great guy then, great teammate. You know, there was no animosity towards me or, you know, anybody else in the room. And, you know, we went out and we competed. I mean, he and I, we lifted together, we ran together, and he was, you know, he's a fast guy. You know, he was a little faster than I was coming out and stuff. So I always had to, you know, I felt like I had to be a little quicker because, you know, Kevin brought that competition.
It's amazing how a guy as healthy as he was, strong, like you said, great teammate, is hit with a disease like this. And, you know, you look at him and then you consider your life and you say, you know, why him and not me?
Yeah, no, you ask yourself that all the time. And that's why, you know, I find myself stuttering like I am right now because I don't have an answer. I mean, I don't, you know, I do have the memory losses. I have the headaches and the different things like that. And you find yourself coaching different. You know, you don't coach it like you used to coach it in terms of being as hard forward and straight ahead because now the head is not a weapon anymore. They used to teach that as a weapon.
Spearing and so forth.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would never say spearing. Never say spearing, but the hardest thing on your body is your head and your helmet. So that's what they, you know, kind of what you learned growing up. So you can see the culture is changing. And, you know, I think Kevin's affliction that he has, you know, a great bearing on why, you know, parents look at the sport a lot different.
And players too. Do you look at it differently? I mean, would you advise a youngster to follow in your footsteps right now?
Well, only if they wanted to. But then there's certain tests that I think you should have to pass. I mean, like, and when I say test pass, I mean, I'm not talking about the mental, you know, test that they give you and all that, but you know, football's not made for everyone. And would I play again? Absolutely. You know, I enjoyed the life that it gave me, the friends that I've made, and the friends that I still have. Had it happened to me, you know, I you know, would I say the same thing? I don't know, you know, but I enjoyed, you know, the whole aspect of the game, football, and I tell my kids that if you don't want to play, it's okay. It's not a question of your manhood or your toughness, and that should never come into effect. But if you do play, then it's a question of your manhood and your toughness. You know, so it's a double-edged sword that, you know, I try not to, you know, I would not want to put on anybody, but I just tell them that the game is not for everyone. And if it's not for you, don't take it as any slight in life.
Sam, thanks for showing up and showing support for your teammate. Good to see you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Final question. Kevin used to play here when he was with the Eagles at Medford. What kind of a golfer was he, Bob?
He wasn't that good. I mean, he, you know, there was probably more than one occasion when he did throw a golf club in the air, and I would say, you know, you may want
in celebration.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. But no, he could hit some shots. I mean, he hit some pretty good shots, some not so good shots. But we always had fun. We always had a good time, and so this is kind of rekindling those memories of good times. His dream was to play in the NFL. From the age of 5, he wanted to play in the NFL. And he lived his dream, and he has no regrets about that.
Welcome back. We are at the Valley Forge Casino Resort. It's time for our Teed Off panel. And today, joining us, no stranger to Inside Golf and Teed Off, Mr. Ken Dunnick, who is
Terry.
the publisher of, hold it up.
Here we go.
We got Yuki Washington on the cover, Philly Man.
Jersey
and
Man. Don't forget Jersey Man magazine. Right? Exactly. Thank you.
Ken. Former Eagle, and now he's morphed into being a very successful magazine publisher. Scott Riley, speaking of success, now going into his 5th year as the head professional at Philadelphia Country Club. And we have Dom Giordano with us again here on Teed Off. Dom holds down the 9 a.m. to 12:05 segment every day, Monday through Friday, of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Gentlemen, recently we saw, a few weeks ago, the tour stop in Scottsdale, Arizona, Phoenix Open, TPC Scottsdale, 16th hole. It's now completely surrounded by grandstands. It's like a mini baseball stadium, par 3, and what an atmosphere. However, you contrast that with, say, a setting like another par 3 16th hole at Augusta. A little bit different circumstances, right, Dom? I mean, let's face it.
Well,
TPC.
Sure. I'm picturing the Augusta guys being dropped into Phoenix. What would happen?
You mean the members?
Yeah, the members. Oh my
They
God.
get a little beer on their green jackets, I think. But what's a better setting for you?
16th hole at Augusta. I don't like the Phoenix 16th hole.
Really?
I may be out of the crowd. Don't like that stuff at all. I think it's forced. I think that Peter Jacobson and these other guys do all these crazy stuff around it, and it seems to me everybody has to live up to it.
Wow.
In fact, I think there's a lot of guys that are just drunk that are there.
You think?
Whereas when you get the 16th hole on Sunday at Augusta, and that ball is trickling down that shelf coming in there, that is, or when Tiger Woods chipped in, of course, that's it. It's loud, it's intense, but it's proper.
It's very proper.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Tiger Woods on the 16th at Augusta, one of the more famous shots when he chipped in off the green, I think in 09.
Right.
And Chris DeMarco was like, are you kidding me? But he also had a hole-in-one in his history at the TPC Scottsdale, and he gave it the big pump, and the crowd, which wasn't as big then as it is now, went crazy.
Yes.
I wonder what
that could have been the start.
That kicked off his whole career.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite?
You know, I've been to the 16th hole at the TPC, so
during the tournament or just
not during
as
the
a
tournament,
player?
but I would say Augusta special, no doubt. But I think for what they're getting out in Phoenix and over 600,000 people to come to a tour event, that is a model to shoot for a lot of weekly tour events to attract those type of crowds. They've created a party type atmosphere.
Without
people
question.
are embracing it. I think what would be interesting. I'm gonna go with the 16th at the Waste Management just for the fun level of setting.
It might be a generational thing too, right?
A little bit.
Maybe.
I mean, in Dom's case, I mean,
I left my green jacket at home, but yes, I'll stick with it.
Like that would put the breathalyzer, that would blow it up, right?
I want to see the decimal rating.
I want more fans that come to golf, and I think Tiger Woods did that in the right way. But these guys strike me as yahoos more than anything.
No question.
Yeah.
Even Scott would agree with you on that.
Oh, don't disagree with it, but they're having a good time, right?
They're having a good time.
In both ways.
All right, Kenny, you're, it's a 1-1 court so far here.
Listen, you picked the 2 right holes. There could be no greater contrast than the church-like atmosphere of the 16th at Augusta versus the raucous atmosphere at Scottsdale. If you're making me choose, Augusta's on my bucket list. I'm going with the 16th at Augusta. But again, I find that 16th hole at Scottsdale refreshing because golf is so quiet and pristine and precise, and here you've got just mayhem going on. And I had to play football in those conditions. It's not quiet on a football field. You got linebackers screaming at you. You got 70,000 people in the stands. So I find that Scottsdale hole refreshing, actually.
I wonder about the pros too. You would know better. Playing under that, they have to say, "Oh, isn't it magnificent?" and all that. But some of those guys, I look at them, they don't look like they're enjoying it when they step up on that tee. There's a lot of pressure.
It's even tougher, I think. Forget being on that hole. It's the hole next to it. It's putting on 15.
Right. Sure.
It's teeing off on 17. And you just don't know when that roar is about to happen.
Right.
So there you are, about ready to hit your shot.
How about the fact too that they boo guys when they miss, or first of all, if they put it in the bunker,
right?
Or if they miss the green, or if they miss a makeable birdie putt, they get howled at.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's the Philadelphia part I kind of like. That part is good. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kenny broke it. We had the ice jam here between Scott and Dom, but Mr. Dunning says no, he's going to Augusta. We'd like to know what you think. Hey, follow us on Twitter at Inside Golf, and we'll be back with more Inside Golf in just a moment.
The Valley Forge Casino Resort is the region's only full amenity gaming resort And it's only seconds from the Pennsylvania Turnpike at King of Prussia. It features 600 slots, 50 table games, and there are nearly 500 guest rooms, plus 8 restaurants designed to meet all of your dining needs. So put the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort on your destination list.
We're rolling out the action and bringing it all to the table. So go all in with endless ways to win. Join us for the area's hottest happy hour with double the action at half the price. Only at Valley Forge Casino Resort.
In 2008, 13-year-old Lester Bell snuck through the fence of Cedar Crest Golf Course. That's where PGA professional Ira McGraw first met him. But back home, Lester had given up hope for a future. So Ira gave the young man a job, became his friend, and 3 years later, his legal guardian. Today, Lester's still golfing, and he hasn't given up since. The best stories end in thanks. Share your story at ThanksPGAPro.com.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Recently here on Inside Golf, we had the story of a blind golfer, Patrick Malloy. Well, we got plenty of reaction to that show with Patrick. The Mid-Atlantic Blind Golfers Association wants to encourage parents of blind or visually impaired children from 5 to 20 years of age to contact them. The association will provide lessons from a PGA professional, clubs, a bag, balls, all free. Check them out. Here's their website, www.mabga.org. Just click on Junior Golf, and in exchange, they promise a lifetime of fun. So nice to hear from so many of you about our story on a very inspirational golfer, Patrick Malloy. That's it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue, and remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. And we'll see you next time on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By Golf Performance Institute, GPI, better training, better athletes, better golfers. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.